Skinny Hardaway Southern T back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, I greatly appreciate you sliding through. If this your first time, do your boy solid. Don't make it your last time. Hit that subscription button as well. We talk this good boxing sports, parlays, predictions, MMA, football, basketball, collegiate, amateur, professional, every single day. Not just today. Today we here with the Wake and Boxing EP as we always do. And I got some bit of information for you. I got some information for you, and I also got, a little breakdown for you, right? I got some info for you, some news. I got some news that you could use, and I also got, a little conversation, right? I want to run back, y'all. I want to have this morning. So the breaking news that you could use is that Devin Haney has officially, right? This is real spill, not a drill. Devin Haney has officially vacated his 135-pound titles. We know that the WBC had already, made Shakur Stevenson their champ, while they made Devin the champ in recess. Well, Devin is no longer the champ in recess because Devin himself, right, decided to vacate all of his belts at the 135 division. So I think that pretty much tells us right there, right, what Devin Haney plans are in the future, or at least the near future. Devin Haney, right now, he isn't looking to go back down to that 135-pound division. Now, while of course I'm not 100% ruling out, a Gervonta Tank Davis fight, because it's not outside of the normal for Gervonta Tank Davis to bring people, back down in weight or nothing like that. Ryan Garcia came back down in weight. Leo Santa Cruz came up in weight. Hector Garcia came up in weight. Right, So it's not outside of the realm for Devontae Tank Davis moved up in weight himself to fight Barrios, right? So it's not outside of the realm of belief that Devontae Tank Davis, Devin Haney, still could fight, because we've seen Tank move up, and we've seen Tank, come bring guys down to fight him, right? So I'm not completely throwing that fight away, but just now for the time being, with the information, that we got now with what's being put towards us, two part piece to that. Devin Haney is relinquishing all his belts at the 135-pound division, and also that will mean that Gervonta Tank Davis, being the WBA regular champion, right, being ranked right after Devin Haney, which he has been ranked right after Devin Haney for a long time now, right? So Tank is about to get elevated, but he's been ranked behind Devin Haney in that WBA position for a long. Him and Devin Haney, like by WBA rules, they could have been and already fought a while ago. You know what I mean? But by the WBA rules, Gervonta Tank Davis would be next in line, would be the next person up for that title fight. You know what I mean? So effectively, right? Not officially yet, but effectively, when it's their time, or when they, decide, or something of the sort. But Gervonta Tank Davis is most definitely next in line for the WBA belt. So that got me to thinking, right? Because he's the regular champ, right? Is somebody that's sitting right behind Gervonta Tank Davis also in the WBA standard as to where Tank winning the WBA gold champ for years on years, right? The WBA ranking system reads as such: Devin Haney, Devontae Tank Davis, and Frank Martin. You know what I mean? So whether Tank is going to be elevated, right, to a champion, or they're going to give him a vacant fight versus the next person up in line for a championship, either way, that next person up in line would be Frank Martin. If I'm Gervonta Tank Davis, if I'm going to be given the belt, right, and there's nothing wrong with being issued the belt, especially if guys move up, right, or if guys get hurt, right? Boxing has to go on. So if Devin Haney is moving up and he's staying up, something's going to have to happen with his belts at 135, right? So I think it's a B to see what's good. AB, my guy, Ray Buck. Appreciate y'all folks sliding through. If y'all could hit that thumbs up for your boy to get your boy, right? Right. So if Devin Haney is going to be staying at 140, his belts are going to have to go vacant because the division has to move on. So I'm not against Tank being issued a belt or issued a vacant fight for a belt. But in this situation, I would love to see the WBA make Tank and Frank Martin fight for a vacant belt rather than just issuing Tank the belt, right, and having Tank decide who he wants to fight. Because this just meaning just how I feel. I feel like if you give Tank a choice, then he's not. This is me and how I feel. Right? I feel like if you give Tank a choice, then he's not going to fight the better fight, right? He's going to fight the fight that makes the most sense to him in his pockets, right, and for the money. Uh, but I think if you make this fight a vacant title fight, Frank Martin is more than a formidable opponent, right? More than a formidable opponent. Tank Davis is Tank Davis, right? I think the fans win here instead of just making Tank, you know what I mean, the champ. I think right now it's a chance for boxing to do the right thing, like Spike Lee, right? Y'all know that Spike Lee movie, Do the Right Thing. I think this is a chance for boxing to do the right thing, like Spike Lee, you know what I mean, and give us this fight that we've been long awaiting. You got Frank Martin, who has said in the past that he's open to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, too, right? You got Gervonta Tank Davis, who's one of the fan favorites, one of the most exciting fighters in boxing, right? This year has been a big year of boxing, a big year of fights. If you scroll down the list and you check all the fights that we have been given this year, I think you will find it. I think you will find out. I think you will find it a lot more. I think you will find that instead of the saying, everybody has been saying boxing is dead, boxing is dead. If you really pay attention to the fights that we have gotten this year, boxing is well and boxing is alive. You know what I mean? I think it will be. I think it will be a great move. You know what I mean? I think it will be a great move for the WBA to give us Frank Martin versus Gervonta Tank Davis. With Devin Haney relinquishing all these belts, it's about to be title fights popping off left and right. Fights for the WBA. I'm hoping it's Tank and Frank, right? Fights for the IBF. The WBC champ has already been crowned, Shakur Stevenson, right? Has already been crowned, Shakur Stevenson, but this 135-pound division is about to. This 135-pound division is about to get turned on his head, right? I had made a video earlier saying that I kind of wish Devin Haney, will go ahead and relinquish the belts, right? If he's going to be at 140. So Devin Haney, he came out and he did that, right? So he has given us a little more direction as to what's going on. But Devin Haney moving up, relinquishing them belts, it opens up an even bigger fight for us. And from all my Gervonta Tank Davis fans, right, I need y'all to do the thing like Spike Lee, right? Now, he's probably is going to be given this WBA belt, right? But just as long as Gervonta Tank Davis had been ranked in the second spot for the WBA belt, which he could have forced, right? He could have forced that mandatory at any time he wanted. Now, you could say, well, Tank Davis didn't want that money of the mandatory, which I will understand, right? But he's been sitting down there in that second spot for a while with Devin Haney. He could have pushed this fight earlier, but he didn't. And I said that to say that Frank Martin has been sitting down there in that third spot just as long as Tank has been sitting down there in that second spot. So with Devin Haney relinquishing the belts and moving up, that puts Gervonta Tank Davis in the spot to become now, right, a two-division champ. Now, while I'm not against, people being elevated or nothing like that, if you are elevated, cool. But just because you get elevated doesn't mean that you don't got to do the right thing. You could be elevated and you could still fight the next person in line, Frank Martin, you know what I mean, and give the people what they want, right? Because what it's leaning towards right now is that it's going to be an Isaac Cruz 2 fight, and I really don't want to see Tank and Isaac Cruz fight, even if it's at 140, right? I really don't want to see Tank and Isaac Cruz fight again. I think that already. I don't feel like, Isaac Cruz beats Tank, right? And I'm not sold that any of these guys beats Gervonta Davis right now, right? But I am sold on the fact that I think these would be good fights for Gervonta Tank Davis, fights where he could test himself, fights where we could see Gervonta Tank Davis maybe under, a little pressure, a little fire. He was under a little pressure, a little fire versus what's the boy name? He was under a little pressure, a little fire versus Leo Santa Cruz, right? But at this point, that was like a couple years back, maybe 3 years back. He was under pressure against Pedraza, right? That was about 8 years ago. right? I want to see Gervonta Tank Davis in more fights like that, right? Ryan Garcia didn't really provide to me. Ryan Garcia didn't really provide to me. You know what I mean? He provided an exciting fight, right? But he didn't provide to me the challenge that I felt like Gervonta Tank Davis needs, right? Gervonta Tank Davis is about 29 years old, one of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet, right? Can't deny that from the eye test, but it's more than just the eye test, right? When it comes to Tank, it's like I'm ready to crown Tank. I'm ready for him to be great, just like I was ready to crown Bud and ready for him to be great. But it's like a hesitancy to fight guys who very well could beat you, right? Or guys who we think could beat you, or, just fights that the fans think are 50-50, whether they are 50-50 or not, right? I think we get a good chance right now with Frank Martin and Gervonta Tank Davis, right? To get a mega fight, kind of feel. Come on. Move. I think we get a chance to get a mega fight kind of feel, right? I think we got a chance to get a mega fight kind of feel with Gervonta Tank Davis and Frank for the WBA, right? So once I seen that Devin Haney, finally decided to let go of all these belts at 135, I was ecstatic. I was like, because you know what? That means that Frank Martin will be next in line for that WBA. And I know, right? Move. And I know that the WBA are going to be, hyped to give Gervonta Tank Davis, that title shot. And if I'm Tank, I think, Tank should do the right thing. I think Tank should do the right thing like Spike Lee, because while Gervonta Davis, he's been boxing for some time now. He's only had a division. He's only had a title in one division, not counting those regular championships, right? Because regular championships, don't count towards your legacy, right? They don't count towards your legacy. He's been a champ at the 130-pound division, and if he's elevated to the champ in the WBA, he will be the champ. He will be the champ at the 135-pound division because of a delay, right? And I know Tank is a good fighter, right? But I think if you're looking at the grand scheme of things, with you not having a second division, right, up until this point, for you to get the belt on elevated status, right? Again, ain't nothing wrong with that. But at some point, right, I think, everybody has pride in what they do. Everybody has pride in their work, right? So if you're going to get elevated, right, fight a good fight. Shakur Stevenson in his elevation fight, right, he fought Edwin De Los Santos. You can't complain about that, right? You can complain about the fight actually itself, but you can't complain about the quality of opponent that Shakur Stevenson fought in his fight. So you beating Edwin De Los Santos for that vacant belt, that's a good win for your vacant belt, right? You were elevated to champ, but you fought it, but you defended it against Edwin De Los Santos, and that made it real. You know what I mean? You could be elevated to a champ, but you must defend it to make it real, right? And why not? What would be a better fight for the WBA? It makes sense doing ranking. It makes sense ranking-wise for the WBA, and it also makes sense if you're talking about fan-friendly fight. You know what I mean? For us, Frank Martin versus Gervonta Tank Davis for the vacant WBA title. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ears. You can check it out. It's the WBA ranking system. It's Devin Haney. It's Gervonta Tank Davis. And it's Frank Martin. So this fight very well could be, give me that. So this fight very well could be, you know what I mean, move. So this fight very well could be, you know what I mean, coming down the pipe. But we also know that Gervonta Davis pretty much, he selects his own fights pretty much. Like you're not getting, come here. Ooh. Like you're not getting in the ring with Gervonta Tank Davis, right? Unless Gervonta Tank Davis wants you to be in the ring with him, right? But I digress. Devin Haney has officially relinquished his titles at the 135-pound division. This will mean that Gervonta Tank Davis is next in line from the WBA to be elevated. And then you got Frank Martin sitting right under Gervonta Tank Davis, man. I've been wanting to see this Frank Martin, Gervonta Tank Davis fight for some time now. This WBA has been interesting for some time now, with Devin Haney being 1, Tank being 2, Frank being 3. I've been saying for the longest, man, eventually something gonna have to shake. Y'all gonna have to come across. Y'all gonna have to make these big fights before you run into Frank Martin. You know what I mean? And it's about that time. It's going to get real hard, you know what I mean, not to give Frank Martin one of these fights. We thought Frank was about to fight Shakur. Contract negotiations fell through, right? But people weren't really paying attention to Frank when he said what he said after that Shakur fight, right? He said, I don't have to take $1 million for this Shakur fight because I got other things down the line. Everybody was saying, bro, you ain't never made $1 million a fight. You don't got no better fights. You might as well take this Shakur fight. Well, guess what? This is what Frank Martin was talking about. Frank Martin knew by ranking system that he was ranked number 2 in the WBA, and that eventually Devin Haney would leave, or eventually Tank and Devin would fight, and he would be next in line. What happened first was Devin Haney decided to move up, relinquish the belts. Now Tank is about to be elevated, and guess who's first in line for that Gervonta Tank Davis fight now at the 135-pound division? Frank Martin, right? But I digress. Let me read this article to y'all about Devin Haney actually relinquishing his 140-pound belts, right? I'm about to bring my camera up in a second, y'all. We about to make it do this. Let me get situated. I'm walking around this thing. Right now. Robe on, blunt in my hand, big text. What's good? And let me drop the flames. Let me drop the flames for the game real quick too for my TWT before I read this article. Hey, y'all, I got 10 people in the building right now. I got 10 people. I need all y'all to hit that thumbs up for your boy. I need all y'all to hit that thumbs up for which Shakur moves up. Known for 140. Shakur moves up. Says Shakur moves up. Devin runs to 140. Boxing hurt himself again. Big Mike. Actually, Devin Haney was saying before Lomachenko that he wanted to move up. I actually feel like Shakur didn't want to fight Devin until he was moving up, until his last fight on ESPN. Shakur and Devin was cool while Devin had a couple fights left on ESPN. I feel like Shakur waited until Devin's last fight to try to fight. But we're not even talking about Shakur Stevenson. Don't got shit to do with Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson got his own problems to worry about. But I digress. He got his own problems to worry about, you know what I mean, right now. But I digress. But for us to say I'm back now, y'all. My bad. I'm back now, y'all. My bad. Y'all do your boy a favor. Hit that thumbs up for your boy. I got 11 people in the building. Shout out my guy, Big Mike. Big Mike, do your boy solid, Big Mike. I don't know if this is your first time, but could you do your boy solid? Don't make it your last time. Hit that subscription button as well. We talking good boxing every single day, not just today. We do these morning shows every morning. I come here for about an hour. We rap. You know what I mean? Today I'm here with a double joint. You know what I mean? Devin Haney relinquished the belts. Gervonta Tank Davis more likely is about to be moved up into position, as the WBA real champ now, not the regular champ. And Frank Martin is ranked snugly, right? See, Frank Martin is placed snugly behind Gervonta Tank Davis. So we very well could be getting. So we very well could be getting Gervonta Tank Davis and Frank Martin if we lucky, right? Let me read this article to y'all. Right? And then another thing I like, right? I know my boy Big Mike came here talking about Shakur. I do like how all this Shakur hype kind of died down. All this Shakur talk, Shakur versus Devin. I like how a lot of these guys can't attach their name to Devin Haney no more, especially after you lay an egg like that. Like normally, okay, right now I got one guy here, right, talking about Devin. Normally it'd be a few people in here. That Shakur versus Devin Haney thing completely went away after the Edwin De Los Santos fight. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to say, oh, people scared of Shakur. It's hard to say, oh, he didn't want to fight Shakur now after he put on that terrible ass performance. You know what I mean? Now we got other stuff to worry about. You know what I mean? But I digress. Also, this opens up a door, right? He's saying Shakur moves up, Devin runs to 140, right? But guess what that opens up a door for? It opens up a door for Shakur versus Gervonta Tank Davis for a title fight. Shakur Stevenson can't get undisputed at 135 if Gervonta Tank Davis got a title without fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. Gervonta Tank Davis can't get undisputed at 135 without fighting Shakur because Shakur Stevenson has a title. What this is going to do is it's going to force Shakur and it's going to force Gervonta Tank Davis to fight one another. Either Tank is going to have to fight Frank Martin, right? Eventually, they're going to have to run across Shakur Stevenson, right? Eventually, Shakur Stevenson is going to have to run across Tank or Frank Martin. You know what I mean? Devin vacating these belts just made this division a whole lot more interesting. You know what I mean? Devin vacating these belts just made this division a whole lot more interesting. You know what I mean? Shout out to my girl Cassandra. Appreciate you sliding through this time today. Glad you made it if y'all could. Hit that thumbs up for your boy. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, I greatly appreciate you sliding through. We just having us a little conversation this morning, a little wake and boxing. Y'all know I like to wake and bake with my folks. Talk a little boxing. Smoke my first blunt of the day. Let y'all know what's going on. But Devin Haney has officially vacated the titles, and let's go open up. You know what I mean? I think this Tank versus Frank Martin fight, at least he should. I think if Tank is elevated, right? If Tank is elevated, shout out to my guy, Edgar Chavez. Appreciate you sliding through this thing, Edgar. If Tank is elevated, right, to WBA super champ, WBA real champ, I think his first fight should be Frank Martin because just as long as Tank Davis has been ranked behind Devin Haney and could have pushed this man though, right? Frank Martin has been ranked behind Tank Davis, waiting for Devin Haney and Tank Davis to make a move. So if I'm the WBA, what I would do is I would force, maybe that's the wrong word. I would mandate, that's the right word, right? That's the technical term, like mandate. If I'm the WBA, I would mandate Gervonta Tank Davis to fight Frank Martin in the vacant title fight for my belt at the WBA. I think that'll give me, that's a pay-per-view fight. That'll get people going. You got some people out who believe that Frank Martin actually has a chance to beat Tank Davis, right? So that's good for business. Or you got some people who just believe, right, you know, a competitive fight. You know what I mean? He said styles do make fights, brother. Why did Dev keep saying he would go back down? Dev is unraveling. He just got to 140 and is now trying to cherry pick Thurman because he can't discipline himself on 147. I'm not going to knock Devin because a lot of people were saying, you know, Devin stayed at 135 too long, right? And it was understood, right? Devin said before this fight, before the Lomachenko fight, Devin said that, you know, he wanted to fight Regis Prograis, right? So it was understood that Devin was moving up to 140 before that fight. He said it again after the fight, right? And then Shakur hopped in and said, I want to fight you, right? You know what I mean? At 140, if Devin is comfortable at 147 pounds, right? Because we've been saying for the longest, man, Devin need to leave 135, right? So if Devin go up, get a belt, boom, and then he go up and get another belt, boom. I have no problem with Devin going to 147 pounds and trying his, you know, it's better fights. And me personally, I don't know where he want to cherry pick Keith Thurman from. I haven't heard nothing. I actually got Bill Haney number, right? I haven't heard nothing about him, you know, going to 147 trying to fight Keith Thurman. I think that's more so a rumor thing. What I'm hearing right now is he hadn't even looked past Regis. Everything coming from that camp and that team is Regis Prograis. You know what I mean? So the 147, that's more so fan talk. That's fan talk. That's content creator talk. You know what I mean? That's not really what's going on right now in these streets. You know what I mean? I know people want to, not necessarily you, Big Mike, but I'm talking to you, though. People want to find something to hate Devin for. He about to fight Regis Prograis, one of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet, right? He got 10 years on him, right? This nigga got 10 years on you. He about to fight one of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet, right? And people still trying to find ways to, oh, Devin didn't do this. Devin didn't do that. Devin didn't do this. Devin didn't do that. Bro, so we finna be mad at him about some shit at 147 when he's still at 140? Like, how I'm gonna be mad at him for what he's about to, like, and how the fuck is Keith Thurman the cherry pick? Keith Thurman just beat the hell out of Mario Barrios. You know what I mean? How was that a cherry pick? When did Keith Thurman become a cherry pick? Keith Thurman is not, especially not for no Devin Haney. It's far from a cherry pick with Devin Haney. You know what I mean? It may be a bit of a cherry pick with Boots because Boots go kill fucking Keith Thurman, right? And some people don't even believe that, right? But it's not a, how could it, why are we even talking about? First of all, Devin fights at 140, right? So how can we already say that he's cherry picking Keith Thurman at 47? Keith Thurman is probably going to the fucking Hall of Fame. So how could we say that he's cherry picking Keith Thurman, who just beat the hell out of Mario Barrios, right? Who just beat the hell out of Ugas, right? He said Bill did an interview on the Boxing Voice saying that he wants Thurman next. He said they invited Thurman to fight, but I'm just saying Thurman has not been active. Thurman beat up Barrios, right? And I'm not mad at Devin Haney for fighting Keith Thurman. It's Keith Thurman, right? What you want me to feel like, right, is Keith Thurman is a bad opponent. Keith Thurman is not a bad opponent, bro. He's not a bad opponent. Like, you can't cherry pick Keith Thurman. You don't cherry pick Hall of Famers. Can't cherry pick Keith Thurman, bro. Right? It sounds good when you see it, but when you really think about it, Keith Thurman is far more accomplished than most of these niggas. You remember Tank Davis? You remember they said they was about to make Tank Davis fight Keith Thurman, and Tank Davis said, hell no, y'all think I'm Superman. Oh, y'all remember they're about to make Keith. Bro, it's crazy how when Devin Haney is about to touch people, they just become niggas. I never heard nobody talk bad about Regis Prograis, bro, up until Devin was finna fight. Now Keith Thurman is a cherry pick. When they was about to make Keith Thurman and Tank fight, and Tank said, hell no, I'm straight on fighting Keith Thurman. Y'all think I'm Superman. You know what I mean? Y'all remember Keith Thurman like, yeah, bring on Tank. Bring on little Tank. Yeah, I'll fight little Tank. Keith said, Tank said, bro, I'm not Superman. So for me, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Keith Thurman is a cherry pick. You know what I mean? For the sake of conversation. Because he's far from a cherry pick, especially if you Devin Haney. You know what I mean? Who's coming up from a smaller division, a lot less experience, haven't been in the big fights. Keith Thurman fought Manny Pacquiao. So you telling me a nigga that fought Manny Pacquiao is going to be a cherry pick for a big man, look, I'm not finna indulge in it, man. Y'all know, come on, man. Y'all know better than that, bro. We not just say you don't like Devin Haney, bro, and nothing he do is gonna suffice, right? Because Gervonta Tank Davis is about to get elevated, bro. Regis Prograis was calling out Gervonta Tank Davis too. So how's we go knock Devin for fighting people that's been calling out our favorite fighters? He's literally fighting everybody. Our favorite fighters been calling out or called that our favorite fighters. Lomachenko, Shakur called him out. Gervonta Tank Davis said he didn't want to fight him, and Devin fought him. You know what I mean? Keith Thurman. Tank said, I don't want to fight Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman fights at 147 pounds. Keith Thurman been in the ring with some of the best fighters in the world. And now Keith Thurman is a cherry pick? Y'all got to stop it, man. Y'all got to stop it. Y'all got to stop it. Y'all got to stop it. Y'all got to stop it, you know what I mean? And I have no problem with Devin Haney. You know, even if he is at this division, boom, he go win the title, then he go move up. I got no problem with that because guys move up, you know, divisions all the time. Except Devin actually got a real title. If Devin fight for a real title and then move up to 47 to fight Keith Thurman, I got no problem with that. And Bill Haney, you know, if he said, you know, they wanted, you know, Keith next, then I'm all for it. I don't consider Keith Thurman no cherry pick at all, though. You know what I mean? Keith Thurman's not a cherry pick at all. You know what I mean? In no way. He says, so you're picking Thurman in that fight? I don't have a pick in that fight because the fight ain't happening yet. Who you picking in that fight, Big Mike? And why you picking him? I tell you this. Keith Thurman just fought, you know, Barrios. I'm not picking nobody in that fight, but I guarantee you this: Devin Haney won't be the favorite. Devin Haney won't be the favorite in that fight, Big Mike. Devin Haney won't be favored to beat Keith Thurman. I guarantee you that. Devin Haney will not be the favorite in that fight to beat Keith Thurman if they fight at 147 pounds. He will not be the favorite in that fight. Guarantee you he won't be the betting odds favorite in that fight. Guarantee you he won't be. Guarantee you Keith Thurman is the favorite in that fight at 147 pounds when they fight one another. Ain't no way in hell Vegas is about to say Devin is the favorite over Keith if that fight does happen. If that fight does happen, which I don't think it is. Bill Haney probably getting his promoter on, and maybe he's trying to open up Keith Thurman to get the talk going, right? I think Keith Thurman and Devin Haney actually be a good-ass boxing match. You know what I mean? Because I ain't no hating-ass nigga. I'm not finna sit and pretend like Keith Thurman got more than one loss. Keith Thurman got one fucking loss. So Manny Pacquiao. Talk your ass off. You know what I mean? So, I personally, if you asking me to pick right now, who I think will win that fight right now, today, right now, at this very moment, but it's boxing. You know what I mean? Again, I don't think Devin Haney is for sure going to beat Regis Prograis. I'm not sold Devin Haney beats Regis Prograis. That's a fight that got to happen. And that's what I like about Devin Haney, because Devin Haney is not fighting fights where I already know who the winner is going to be. No matter how much y'all want to try to pretend that he fucking is. You don't know if he going to beat Regis Prograis. We damn sure don't know if he going to beat Keith Thurman. We didn't know if he was going to beat Lomachenko. You know what I mean? We didn't know these things. Because I'm not saying Thurman is a bad fight, but I just think a fighter needs to be active to beat a boxer like Devin. But Keith has a puncher's chance being inactive. Man, Keith Thurman is one of the best boxers in boxing, as far as like talent-wise, boxing, moving around the ring, using angles, using his jab, throwing the uppercut, working the body, using head movement. Bro, Keith Thurman is one of the best boxers out, bro. Don't do that. Don't do that, Mike. Don't do that, Mike. Cleat. TWT. And then with the D block. Appreciate y'all sliding through. Y'all do your boy solid, man. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. But Devin Haney won't be the favorite against Keith Thurman, dog. When them odds drop, Devin Haney won't be the favorite, man. That's a real fight for Devin if that fight happens. Just like Regis Prograis. Nah, quickly. They good, quickly. Don't block nobody. Don't block nobody, y'all. Now let them rap. Now we here like let them rap, y'all. Don't block nobody. Y'all subscribe to the channel. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. You know what I mean? I appreciate y'all folks sliding through this thing. We got at least another 30 in here. Y'all know how I like to do it. I'm gonna give y'all at least an hour in the morning. If I don't do nothing else today, if I don't talk no more boxing today, y'all know I'll try to give y'all these morning boxing talk, because I know what y'all here for. Because I see how the boxing streams go versus, you know what I mean, my other streams now. I know what y'all here for. So I try to do this at least early in the morning. Now you might miss it, but you can always catch the playback. You know what I mean? I always catch the playback, but I digress. MP, what the fuck was good? Appreciate y'all folks sliding through just to catch y'all up on what we own. Hey, y'all, random thought, bro, in elementary, y'all. I used to have to take speech classes and shit, bro. I couldn't even talk. Like, I used to have to, like, you can ask my brother here right now. I used to have to, like, beat my chest sometimes, bro, to get words out, like hard stuttering, like head ticking, like to get words out. And now all I do is fucking run my mouth. And I'm one of the quietest niggas you can find. I swear, ask anybody in my family, I'm one of the quietest niggas you can find. And I wake up, get on this bitch, and I say a million motherfucking words a day, and I couldn't even talk for like 2 years of my goddamn life. Motherfuckers thought I was retarded, dog. And I knew I was always listening, but that's why I got good vision, right? I got a good feel for people, because for like 2-3 years of my life, I knew exactly what the fuck I wanted to say, but I couldn't get the shit out. You know what I mean? I was too embarrassed to even say shit most of the time, because I knew I was gonna stutter hard as a motherfucker. So I just used to have to just, I used to pay attention to everybody else. You know what I mean? But I knew I understood everything. I just couldn't say the shit. It's because y'all see how I'm talking now, how I'm speedboating and shit. I was trying to do that as a kid, and my brain couldn't process that shit. You see how fast I'm talking this shit now? I was trying to do that shit then. Right. Appreciate that, Cassandra. Cassandra said, and you rap well. Cassandra. That was my whole, thank you, Cassandra. That's kind of what I want. That's kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, people don't even understand, bro. Me just having a YouTube, me being able to drop, how many mixtapes I dropped? 5. Me being able to drop 5 fucking rap mixtapes, bro. That was me versus me. That was me versus myself, to prove to myself that, you know what I mean? I could do some shit. You know what I mean, bro? Like that was a win for me. This is a win for me, being able to get paid to speak, getting paid to speak. You know what I mean? But that's a win for me because I used to take speech classes. You know what I mean? I used to get in trouble a lot in the elementary. I used to get in trouble a lot. I used to have a lot of fights and shit. Like I used to get in trouble because motherfuckers used to fuck with me because I couldn't talk. So I was always an actor. I used to just hit motherfuckers or jump on motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Type shit. And the teachers be like, I don't understand it because he's so sweet. He don't say nothing. He don't bother nobody. I didn't think, right, because he was fucking with me because I couldn't talk. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? She said, then T with that RV. But he was always, bro, it was just, that was like a battle with myself. You know what I mean? So don't block nobody in here, bro. Don't be tripping on what nobody got to say or no shit like that, bro. Let them folks say what they got to say because I know how to deal with it. Believe it, I got something for his ass. You know what I mean? I got something for it because I'm not even talking about Shakur Stevenson, right? Here's a Shakur Stevenson fan. I talk about Shakur Stevenson in the mix because, you know, he's a champ at 135, and he probably going to have to fight Tank now, right? Because Tank probably about to get a belt, but I want Tank to fight Frank. Shakur is in the mix, right? So I don't really care about, you know, as long as don't come here saying, you black nigger with the ER, some shit like that, bro. Y'all can't, I don't give a fuck what nobody got to say. You know, I can't be moved. I can't be moved in this motherfucker. Believe that. Believe it. Believe I can't be moved. I don't think move me. The thing that moved me probably about 3-4 foot tall, and it's three of them. It's three of them. They call Rainy, Money, and Sky. That's the only thing that moved me. That's really the only thing that really can move me. Honestly, I swear to God. So I ain't worried about nothing there. I ain't worried about nothing. Man, I told my kids I was coming to Texas like last month. I couldn't get there, right, bro. I was sad about 4 days straight, bro. I lost my last girlfriend. So I was sad as a motherfucker about 4 days straight, and she ain't even understand it. You know what I mean? I was really disappointed. Like that kind of shit moved me. You know what I mean? Bitch, you don't understand why I'm in here so pissed off because they thought I was coming and I didn't come. You know what I mean? They be hyped for that shit. You know what I mean? I was hyped for that shit, and I couldn't make that shit. I made this shit happen, but here or that, right? I couldn't really make that shit happen at the time. So I pissed off about that. You know what I mean? That's the type of shit that moved me. That's the type of shit that ruined my day. That's the type of shit that had me depressed and shit. This shit right here, other shit, there ain't no sweat off my back, man. Ain't no sweat. I've been through worse shit. For real. I'm 32, but I haven't been through shit like a nigga 42. You know what I mean? I ain't never been married, but I've been dealing with the same woman about 16 years. So you tell me what the fuck that is. You know what I mean? At this point, honestly, I'd have been married. I'd have been divorced. Fuck you talking about? I never signed no goddamn paper. You know what I mean? But I digress. I'm not moved by nothing that go on fucking YouTube or social media. It's basically what I'm getting at. You know what I mean? I'm one of them young old niggas. You know what I mean? I'm a young old nigga. You know what I mean? I'm one of them niggas, bro. I ain't worried about that. I ain't worried about that shit. But anyway, I thank y'all too for saying I got good music. Thank y'all. Thank y'all too. I appreciate that. But I digress. Let me get to this article. That's what I was supposed to be doing before he brought up Shakur. And shout out to my guy, he's still in here too. Don't shoot nobody. Shout out to my guy, Big Mike. Shout out to my guy, Big Mike. Shout out to my guy, Big Mike. Appreciate you. He said, Tank is a bum. 29 still has to fought a real fight. Hey, I might have to give you a wrench, bro. You come here talking about Tank like that. You know people love Tank, right? You know people love Tank. But that is true, though. Those are facts, though, buddy. Those are facts, though. He had fought a real fight. It's just been a long time. He fought Leo Santa Cruz, real fight. He fought Pedraza, real fight. It's just been a while. It's been a while since he had a real one. It's been a while since he had a real one, bro. It's time, though. Frank Martin, bro. If Devin Haney, just back on subject, Devin Haney just vacated the belts, right? Basically, just vacated the belts to move up to 140. If they elevate Tank to 140, Tank first fight should be Frank Martin. If we doing the right thing like Spike Lee, Tank first fight should be Frank Martin. Because elevation means everybody move it right. So if Devin move out to fight Regis at 140 for a belt, if they elevate Tank Davis, that means Frank Martin elevated too. So that means Frank Martin went from 3 to 2. Tank went from 2 to 1. So I need 1 versus 2. If you Tank, right, he deserves it. He's right behind you. He's been right behind you for a minute, right? Frank versus Tank. It makes sense. You could sell that shit. You know what I mean? Frank versus Tank. You can put that shit on pay-per-view, right? Because you put everything else on pay-per-view. You put that shit on pay-per-view and watch how that bitch do. Frank got the East Coast because that nigga from like, what he from, like Jersey or some shit or Maryland or somewhere he from. And he got the South because he be in Texas. He trained in Texas. All us, we be forgetting Frank not from Texas sometimes. We be forgetting Frank is not from Texas. We be forgetting that because I don't even know where he really from because it's motherfucking Texas all the time. Where Frank from? Are you from like New Jersey or Maryland or some shit like that? Where Frank from? But he get what I'm saying is he got his where he from actually, and then he got Texas where everybody think he fucking from. You get what I'm saying? So that's the fight that's go sell. A lot of people think Frank can beat you. I think Frank can compete with you, right? I don't know if he could beat you. I want to see. I thought, yeah, Detroit. Okay, yeah, boom, Detroit. So he got Detroit, right? And he got Texas, right? He got the Motor City. He got his people, and he got Texas. You got the DMV, and you got all Ryan Garcia fans and shit like that, right? So, bro, that shit is going to sell. So that shit is going to sell. You know what I mean? Make that shit happen, dog. You won, Frank too. Even if they elevate you, Tank, I think if I'm a Tank fan, bro, I'm telling him, bro, like my guy just said, bro, it's been a minute since you fought. He said Tank is a bum. He ain't fought nobody yet, right? But I'm a dress it up a little bit, right? Like my guy just said, bro, it's been a minute since you fought somebody. We want to see you fight somebody that's worth a damn. You know what I mean? Now, some people go feel away because you only got one belt, right? You only got one division at 29 years old, right? And if you move up and you get a belt handed to you and you still fight people that we think you're not going to beat, you know what I mean? Now, it's going to be some people who don't give a fuck. Some people just want to see you look good, right? Some people just want to see you, you know, succeed, right? And I'm not saying I don't want to see you succeed, but I want to see you challenge yourself, right? But some people are okay with whoever their favorite fighter fight. Don't matter really who they fight, right? Shout out my guy Big Dog Willie in that super chat. Appreciate you sliding through. Let me drop the flames for the game. Appreciate you. Shout out my guy Big Dog with the love. Putting some color in my chat. Appreciate you, G, for always having my back. Shout out my guy Big Dog. What's good? TWT. I love seeing these TWTs in the building. Cassandra said, Tank, my guy, I got him over everybody at 135, but he definitely has to give us a big fight. And Cassandra, I think he gave us a big fight, right, Queen? He gave us a big fight, right? I want Tank to give us a competitive fight, or at least a competitive fight on paper, right? Because Ryan Garcia, Cassandra, is a big fight. I know what you meant. Ryan Garcia on paper is a big fight, right? It's going to get people looking. But that shit wasn't competitive. We knew Tank was going to knock his ass out. We knew Tank was going to knock him out. Like my homie Mike asked me, who you think going to win, Keith Thurman or Devin? I don't fucking know. I can't just be like, yeah, Devin going to sweep Keith Thurman. I'd be a damn fool. But I knew Tank was going to sweep Ryan. I could say that with confidence. I knew Tank was going to sweep his ass up. Now, Ryan showed some heart. He actually tried to fight Tank. He didn't go out there scared, running from the power. And now Ryan was right there. That's why I fuck with Ryan now, because Ryan was right there. He was trying to knock Tank ass out. He was trying to knock his ass out. So shout out Ryan for making us, giving us an entertaining fight. That was a big fight. That was an entertaining fight, right? Ryan quit in the end, right? But the way he fought, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? I appreciate the way that he fought. But I knew Tank was going. Tank won by knockout. I knew that was coming. You know what I mean? I knew that was coming. At some point, I knew he was going to knock Ryan out. You know what I mean? I thought he was going to knock Ryan out with a headshot, sleep. He knocked him out with a body shot, but I knew he was going to stop Ryan. You know what I mean? With Frank Martin, I think Tank wins, but I'm not 100% sure. I can't just come on here and be like, yeah, man, Tank go knock his ass out. You know what I mean? I could say that, but I wouldn't believe it. That he just 100% go in there, because Frank is extremely athletic. Frank can box. Frank is quick. That's gonna be a battle of the fucking athletes. That's like, you ever seen two fucking cornerbacks fight each other? That's what it's gonna look like. It's gonna look like two athletic ass cornerbacks in the ring fighting each other. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is gonna be a whole lot of fast ass punching going on, a whole lot of swinging and shit. You know what I'm saying? Somebody go get hurt in that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Somebody go get hurt. You know what I mean? In that bitch. You know what I mean? So hell yeah, I want to see it. Because Frank be stopping shit. He be boxing his ass off. Tank be stopping shit. He be boxing his ass off. I think we win. You know what I mean? I think we win. And if Tank go in there and he sweep Frank ass up, then you go put a lot of niggas on hush mode. You know, you can put a lot of motherfuckers on hush mode. It's, you know what I mean? You sweeping up Ryan. We knew you was going to sweep up Ryan. We've been saying for years. Bro, people been telling me for years, Ryan ain't shit. Ryan this, Ryan trash, Ryan this, that, Ryan trash. Tank go fight him. And, you know, now Ryan is the golden goose. You get what I'm saying? But I heard y'all for years tell me Ryan sucked. So, Ryan still sucked to me, right? So, but anyway, I digress. But yeah, it's time we see Tank in a competitive fight and Frank Martin to be perfect. Like that'd be the perfect fight for him. You know what I mean? That would be the perfect fight for him. It would be the right thing to do also because just like you were sitting at number 2, right? He was sitting at number 3 just long as you. You know what I mean? So hell yeah, I think that should be Tank first order of business at 35. If they do, the WBA should make it a vacant title fight, right? But if the WBA don't do that, I think Tank should do the right thing like Spike Lee, and I think his first fight should be Frank Martin at 135, right? But I digress. Let me go and get to this article. Let me go and get to this article for y'all. Devin Haney is officially done with the lightweight division. Boxing scene has confirmed that the unbeaten lineal champion has given up the remaining physical titles at the weight to campaign a junior welterweight or higher. Haney informed ESPN's.com Mike Coppinger of the decision to relinquish his belts he last claimed in June. The move comes as Haney, 30-0, 15 KO, challenges junior welterweight titleist Regis Prograis December 9th at the Chase Center in his birth town of California. Haney appeared on borrowed time at lightweight, even headed into his May 20th unanimous decision victory over 3 division titleist Vasily Lomachenko. Right, so I'm gonna read that again. It said Haney, because somebody came in here and they said Devin Haney is moving up a division when Shakur Stevenson moved up a division, boxing losing, right? But we already knew he was moving up. Shakur already knew he was moving up. Shakur really is the one who waited too late if he really wanted that fight. I think Shakur actually wanted the clap chase, which is what he did. And it worked until he laid an egg against De Los Santos, and now everybody off their clap chasing train again, right? You're supposed to put on a much better fight against De Los Santos, keep that thing going. You know what I mean? But I digress. Even Shakur knew that Devin was about to move up because everybody knew. Even boxing scene knew. Haney appeared to be on borrowed time at lightweight, even headed until his May 20th unanimous decision victory over Lomachenko. But I digress. The win marked his second successful defense of the undisputed title at lightweight and Haney's 7th overall for the WBC title. The sanctioning bodies began probing the 25-year-old his future title status earlier this summer. First, the WBO, who checked if Haney would move to junior lightweight to potentially challenge Teofimo Lopez. Haney was then clocked with the WBC, who ordered mandatory against Shakur. Haney informed WBC of his decision to face Regis Prograis, and WBC made him champion in recess. Shakur Stevenson went on to face Edwin De Los Santos November 16th, T-Mobile at the Las Vegas Arena. No other mandatories were yet ordered, but Haney decided to let go of the other belts rather than have the sanctioning bodies pick them from him one at a time. Haney held the WBA super title, which will be removed from existence per organization's ongoing reduction policy. Baltimore-bred knockout artist Gervonta Tank Davis will convert his regular title into the WBA's full 135-pound championship. So actually, Tank has already been elevated. So this is a move that's already been made. So they didn't say, they didn't make it an open title fight. Tank is already champ. So as of today, Tank is a champ at 140 pounds. Tank is now a 2-division champ. Shout out Tank. It's been reported by several outlets that former titleists George Kambosos and Lomachenko are in talks for what would now be a vacant title fight. Oh, shit. So they're about to get Lomachenko or George Kambosos a strap. Wow. Kambosos lost to Haney in their rematch last October, but worked his way back into contention with a 12-round punch decision win over Maxie Hughes. Should the Kambosos fight materialize, the WBO belt would then be up for grabs with the 2 highest ranked lightweights between the 2 highest ranked and available contenders. Damn. The Ukraine Southpaw is ranked 3 by the IBF, number 1 by the WBO. So that fight could be for the WB. That fight could be for the IBF or the WBO between Kambosos and Lomachenko. So Kambosos and Lomachenko is gonna be for a title. Kambosos and Lomachenko go be for a title. You know what I mean? So yeah, Tank Davis is already the champ right now. So Tank Davis is the champ at 135. So now Tank Davis is officially a 2-division champion. You know what I mean? Yep. So Lomachenko versus Kambosos is gonna be for a title. So you got Shakur Stevenson, the WBC champion. You got Gervonta Tank Davis, the WBA champion. You got the winner of Kambosos. You got the winner of Kambosos. Move. You got the winner of Kambosos and Lomachenko, right? They're going to be the IBF or the WBO champion. Seeing that Bob Arum's belt is the WBO, I could see the WBO taking that fight, Kambosos and Lomachenko, and making that their title. So we'll just give the winner of Kambosos and Lomachenko the WBO title. So you'll have the IBF title, and I see that they got Barachuk and they got Isaac Cruz in here as well. So they got Barachuk and Isaac Cruz are also names being thrown in the mix. So these 135 titles, they're about to have homes pretty soon, right? Based on this article. So Devin Haney relinquished the belt. The WBA has already elevated Gervonta Tank Davis, right? So if I'm Gervonta Tank Davis, man, I think Gervonta Tank Davis' first fight should very well be against Frank Martin, because Frank Martin is next up in their ranking system. But what's probably going to happen, right? What's probably is that they fight for the IBF, Kambosos and Lomachenko. Kambosos and Lomachenko fighting for the IBF. So the WBO is going to be Barachuk and Isaac Cruz then. Lomachenko became the benefactor of the development. The Ukrainian Southpaw is ranked number 3 by the IBF, number 1 with the WBO. Should the Kambosos fight materialize, the WBO belt will then be up for grab between the two highest ranked and available contenders. Should the fight with Kambosos materialize, the WBO belt will then be up for grabs between the two highest ranked and available contenders. KT Promotions Ukrainian founder Alex Caruso openly campaigned during the WBO convention for Barachuk to be assured to strike the title should it become available. Immediately following Barachuk's New Mexico City, Isaac Cruz is also ranked number 1 with the WBA, has long campaigned for a rematch versus Davis. Should the fight materialize? Now, it look like they're going to fight for the WBO, bro. Look like they're going to fight for the WBO. Lomachenko became the benefactor of their development. The Ukrainian Southpaw is ranked number 3 in the IBF, number 1 with the WBO. Should the fight with Kambosos materialize, the WBO belt will then be up for grabs between the two highest ranked and available contenders. So I think they're going to fight either way. Either or. Don't really fucking matter. I know number 3 in the IBF, though, is like really number 1 because they have the champion. They have a blank spot, and then they have like number 3. So number 3 is really like number 3 in the IBF is really like the number 2, right? They have a champion, blank second spot, then number 3. So Lomachenko is ranked number 1. Basically, at this point, Devin Haney is no longer the IBF champ, right? So basically, Lomachenko is ranked number 1 for the WBO and number 1 for the IBF. You know what I mean? So one of them straps is going to be on the line. You know what I mean? One of them just is going to be on the line for that. So Kambosos or Lomachenko is going to be a champion heading out of that fight. And I see Cruz. They said Cruz is ranked number 1 with the WBA. I'm not really sure how the fuck Cruz become ranked number 1 for the WBA over Frank Martin. But then again, I would know how it happened because Tank is probably about to fight Isaac Cruz again, not Frank Martin. You know what I mean? So I do see how the WBA would have jumped Isaac Cruz over Frank Martin so they could say, you know, well, Isaac Cruz is ranked number 1 in the WBA, but I know Frank Martin has a title has a WBA regular championship. So there is no way that Eastside Cruz is running higher than Frank Martin, right? But we probably about to get Lomachenko versus Pitbull. I mean, we probably about to get Davis versus Pitbull, right? And the way that you would justify that would be that Eastside Cruz is ranked number 1 in the WBA, even though I know for a fact Frank Martin is a WBA gold champion. So, Cassandra, so, you know, so Lomachenko, and I don't know what belt can both Lomachenko about to fight for, right? I don't know what belt better fight for, because right in the article it say WBA, in the article it say WBO, right? The IBF belt is after Lomachenko ranked both. He ranked number 1 in both. You know what I mean? Pretty much. So they about to fight for a strap. So them belts is about to get 135 is about to 135 will have to mix it up. All I'm saying. We know Shakur a champion. We know Gervonta Tank Davis is a champion. Lomachenko is about to be a champion, right? And maybe they make that's crazy. That's crazy. Man, I hope we don't get Eastside Cruz versus Tank Davis. Anything but Eastside Cruz versus Tank Davis, man. We saw that shit already, man. Don't nobody want it again. Don't nobody want to see that again, dog. We don't want to see that again, man. And maybe you beat Frank Martin too, right? Maybe you beat Frank Martin too, but at least that's a fight that we haven't seen yet, right? You beat Frank Martin, at least there's something that we haven't seen yet, right? So ain't nobody trying to see you fight Eastside Cruz again. You know what I mean? At least I damn sure don't want to see you fight Eastside Cruz again. You know what I mean? At least I damn sure don't want to see you fight Eastside Cruz again. Right? My whole thing, man, I just want to see competitive fights, man. And I'm not saying I don't think that Eastside Cruz versus Tank is competitive, because Eastside Cruz, right, is a competitive fight. I think Tank will knock his ass out this time, right? But it's a competitive fight for sure. But it's something that we've seen before. It's something that we know what to expect. I think it's time for some new blood, Frank Martin, to get his shot. You know what I mean? I think it's time for us to see where does Frank Martin rank amongst the best, right? Because Eastside Cruz has already gotten his shots. You know what I mean? He's already gotten his shot. You know what I mean? My guy, Basil Jefferson, shout out my guy, Basil Jefferson. My guy, Basil Jefferson said he's running. Basil Jefferson talking about David Haney. Basil, do you boy a favor, Basil? Could you hit that thumbs up for your boy? Could you also subscribe to the channel? I greatly appreciate you sliding through. You said he's running. Who are you talking about, my G? I got a little time that if y'all want to come up on the panel, I drop the link for y'all. If y'all want to come up, speak y'all shit, y'all can. If y'all got something to say on, we be on her out. Y'all want to come up, speak y'all shit on, y'all most definitely can. Basil Jefferson, if you want to come up, you can come up. You can speak your piece if you want. But who you feel like running? I would take it you talking about Devin Haney, right? Haney. I would take it you talking about Devin Haney. So how is Devin Haney running, my brother? How is Devin Haney running? Because if I'm not mistaken, like Devin Haney has been at 135 for a minute, right? People have been saying Shakur Stevenson need to move up for a while, right? Tank Davis actually has been at 135, right? So at some point, him and Devin Haney should eventually. How did Devin Haney get undisputed at 135, right? If Gervonta Tank Davis fights at 135 also, right? So who will he be running from, right? Because he did offer Shakur a contract, right? So how did Devin Haney get undisputed at 135? Did they got to see each other tank? Okay, so Devin Haney moved up, right? How long has Devin Haney been at 135? And I got a question. How long has Tank Davis been ranked number 2 in the WBA? Right? My guy Basil Jefferson said Devin Haney is running from Tank, right? So how long has Tank been ranked at number 2 in the WBA, Basil? right? So why didn't Tank Davis ever go to the WBA and say, I want to fight Devin Haney for his strap, right? Shout out my guy, my brother's keeper. Appreciate you sliding through. My brother's keeper. Glad you can make it. Glad you can make it. So he's been ranked there for a while, right? So how was Devin Haney able to get a shot, right, at undisputed if Tank Davis was always at 135? That means at some point, right, Devin and Tank should have ran into one another to fight for a belt, right? It should have been mandated, right? And they actually did run into each other with the WBA. But Devin Haney was the champion, right? Tank was number 2. Tank never forced the issue, Basil. Shout out my guy, Basil Jefferson, bro. Shout out my guy, but that's all I'm saying, G. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? He never really forced the issue. And I'm not saying that Tank ducked. Tank probably didn't force that issue, right? Because he didn't want to take the mandatory split, right? Maybe he felt like, I don't want to give Devin Haney more money than me because he's the champ and I'm the mandatory, right? Maybe Tank wants to. So I'm not even saying that Tank ducked, but to say Devin is running and, you know, those guys been at the same division. So why did he vacate the belt? Because he fighting Regis at 140, right? He fighting Regis at 140. You know what I mean? My thing is, okay, Basil, I got a question for you, my G, right? Why didn't Tank, you know, when Tank first got out of jail, right? Devin didn't have a fight. Shakur didn't have a fight, right? Devin signed a fight. Shakur signed a fight. And then Tank kind of came back out in public and started talking, right? My thing is, it was space. Devin just signed a fight. Regis program maybe like a month or so ago, right? He was saying that he was going to move up to fight him, right? When Tank was in jail, right? But there was a space in between there where, you know, Tank was real quiet. It was Shakur and Devin, right? You know, Tank could have got in the mix then. But shortly after, you know, they signed fights, Tank came out and said, I'm probably going to fight again next year, right? But Devin vacated the belts to fight Regis program. So to say he's ducking because he's fighting Regis program, that's tough, man. So y'all gonna say Devin Haney ducked Shakur, Devin Haney ducked Tank. Well, who Devin Haney fight? Then what we gonna say? Right? Okay, let's just say that Devin Haney did duck Shakur. Let's say Devin Haney did duck Tank. Right? He ducked him. Who? I don't know, right? Who did Devin Haney duck Shakur and Tank to fight? Who that man ducked Tank to fight? Who he ducked Shakur to fight, man? Who Devin fight? Who he fight after them then? He should have fought them guys. Who the fuck he fight after them? Who Devin fight after them? If Devin didn't fight them, who did he fight in his next fight? God damn it, this ducking ass Devin Haney. Who this ducking ass Devin Haney nigga fight in his fight when he ducked Shakur? Who he fight, y'all? Y'all tell me who that nigga fought. I lost 2 people when I started asking who Devin Haney fought after he ducked. I lost 2 people, right? Somebody who ducking ass Devin Haney fight, man? Who that nigga fight when he ducked Tank and Shakur, bro? Who that man fight? Ducking ass Devin Haney. I had 15 of y'all in here, right? Right. I agree with y'all and said, nah, he did. So you said Lomachenko, but okay, we can go with Lomachenko. We can go with Lomachenko. Right. So y'all saying that he ducked Shakur to fight Lomachenko, a person that Shakur wanted to fight. Y'all saying that he ducked Tank to fight Lomachenko, right? A person that Tank didn't want to fight, right? But the answer really would have been Regis Prograis because that's what he about to fight next, right? But if Lomachenko is an even better answer, you know what I mean? That's an even better answer. You know what I mean? Right? But the answer, right, would be because they say he moving up, he running because he moved up, right? Who the fuck did he fight? Who he move up and fight? Who he move up and fight? That ducking ass Devin Haney. Who that ducking ass Devin Haney move up and fight, man? Ducking ass Devin Haney, man. Nigga moved up to fight Regis Prograde. He said Salido. Come on, man. I mean, a duck who, you know what I mean? It's hard to say that Devin Haney is ducking anybody by fighting Lomachenko, Regis Prograde. That's going to be a tough point to sell. That's going to be a tough point to sell, man. That's gonna be a hard point to sell. Y'all do what favor. Y'all hit that thumbs up for you. But I appreciate you sliding through this jump, Basil. Appreciate you sliding through this thing, Basil. Chat my guy 88. Appreciate you sliding through this thing, 88. Appreciate you sliding through this thing. We just having us an open boxing conversation. Oh yeah, Tank Davis. Oh yeah, my title is a little wrong too, because Tank Davis, there is no vacant WBA title, right? Because y'all know I don't read them articles. I don't read them articles before, you know. I get here, I like to read them fresh. I like for us to both be reading them at the same time. So that's why I do it. You know what I mean? So that belt right there ain't even vacant. They already made Tank the champ at 135. So Tank is now a 2-division champ, officially. You know what I mean? Tank is officially a 2-division champ already. Right? So that belt ain't vacant. So if I'm Tank Davis, man, it's probably going to be Eastside Cruz. You know what I mean? It's probably going to be Eastside Cruz, but we don't really want to see that again. We saw that once already, right? We feel like we know what's going to happen with that, right? It's probably going to be Eastside Cruz. It's probably going to be Eastside, right? But, man, it most definitely should be Frank Martin. We said you fight Eastside Cruz again, right? We don't want to see it again, bro. And if I remember correctly, man, Gervonta Tank Davis said, I'm fighting Devin Haney and I'm fighting Shakur Stevenson next, right? He said, I'm fighting Devin Haney, I'm fighting Shakur Stevenson next. Shakur Stevenson is the WBC champ. They just made you the WBA champ, right? Shakur Stevenson don't have a fight in his next fight. Tank Davis don't have a fight next year. He don't have a fight next year. So Tank is the champ. This is going to be my next EP. This is going to be my EP later after I get off this one. How long I've been here? Because now I got another gem floating around in my head. Right now, right? Gervonta Tank Davis said he wanted to fight Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney next, right? Devin Haney is at 140, right? Shakur Stevenson is the champ, WBC champion. Shakur Stevenson don't got a fight in his next fight, right? Tank Davis don't got a fight yet, right? We heard you might fight Eastside Cruz, right? But you don't officially have a fight next year, right? You know, unification. An easier fight to make would be Frank Martin. So at this point, man, I want Tank Davis to either unify with Shakur Stevenson or I want him to fight Frank Martin, who will be next in line in the WBA, because we already seen you fight Eastside Cruz and we ain't trying to see it again, right? So at this point, I want a Frank Martin fight, a Frank Martin title defense, or Shakur Stevenson unification. At this point, he needs to fight to justify his title. He has a title at 135 now, right? He needs to fight to justify his title at 135. And I think Frank Martin does that. Eastside Cruz, that's a lateral move. That's another lateral move. That's not a move up. It's actually a move down from Ryan Garcia, right? But it's a lateral move as far as your career, right? We really don't want to see that. I think Tank at 29, come here. Give me that. Give me that. No, give me that sock. Give me that. Give me that. We've had enough lateral moves from Gervonta at this point. At 29 years old, right? He's had enough lateral moves, right? Now, Frank Martin fight is exciting because it's new blood. Give me that. Frank Martin fight. Frank Martin fight, it's exciting because it's new blood, right? We seen you beat Eastside Cruz. Shakur Stevenson fight, it's exciting because it's a big fight and it's new blood, right? That's a 50-50 fight in most people. As it might not be right now after Shakur Stevenson's last performance, because now most people think Tank just flatline Shakur Stevenson. They think Shakur Stevenson not even go get in there with Tank. He just go run around the ring the whole time. He never go hit him, right? So maybe that fight ain't as exciting as it was. But you know what I mean? Maybe Tank Davis, you know, it should be more inclined to fight Shakur Stevenson now. Because I feel like at first I feel like it might have been a 50-50 fight. Now I feel like Tank gonna beat Shakur Stevenson because Shakur Stevenson ain't gonna engage him. But it also gonna be something to say. It's also gonna be something to say if Tank really can't hit Shakur, right? And the way Shakur box, right? He's real elusive. Like it is hard to hit him, but you're not gonna be able to win a fight like that against Gervonta Tank Davis because he gonna be hawking you down, stopping you down. He can cut out the ring a lot better than Edwin De Los Santos, right? You know what I mean? So ain't really looking good for Shakur Stevenson right now. You know what I mean? On the grand scheme of things, right? But you are a champion. You are the WBC champ. Tank is now officially WBA champ. Neither of you guys have fights right now. Maybe y'all could come together. Maybe y'all could get y'all thing going. Maybe y'all could get y'all thing going, right? You know what I mean? Type deal. But if you can't do that, another fight, in-house fight that we haven't seen before, fresh blood. You know what I mean? Fresh blood. Frank Martin is sitting in-house, PBC fighter in the stable, ranked in the WBA. You just got elevated. Why not fight Frank Martin? He's already a guy who's called you out. He's already a guy who said he'll be interested in the fight. We already seen you fight. You know what I'm saying, Eastside Cruz. I think at this point, man, it's about 2 fights for Gervonta Tank Davis. Maybe 3. Maybe you fight Edwin De Los Santos. But, I mean, big fights, right? Fights that's going to really move the needle. It's about 2 fights for Gervonta Tank Davis right now, right? It's about 2 fights for him. Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin. You know what I mean? He said, man, Tank versus Shakur going to be a track meet. You thought he ran from Santos. He really going to be doing sprints right. So now the people, you know what I'm saying, maybe they lost a little bit. They lost a little bit off it. You come here. You know what I mean? Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin, that didn't lost. You know what I mean? Just a little. I mean, Shakur Stevenson. The Shakur Stevenson brand took a little hit, man. Next time Shakur Stevenson fight, man, he got to go on their balls to the wall, just all out, just bro. That's what we need because we don't believe you no more, Shakur. Not that we don't believe in you, right? We don't believe you no more when you talk that high shit about what you go do to people, right? Not after that last fight. And now Shakur Stevenson talking to Ryan Garcia, right? Go ahead, make that happen. Like that's more, yeah, that's about right. You know what I mean? I watched that. Yeah, go ahead and let Shakur Stevenson and Ryan Garcia fight at the catchweight. I watched that, but I digress. Yeah, that's what Shakur Stevenson would need right now, something like that, you know, to get back in the good graces. You know what I mean, after that last fight, type deal. B-Dog, what's good, B-Dog? B-Dog said WBA Super is going no longer exist. Tank is going to be made full champ. Yep, he already full champ. He's already the full champ. Effective. They already done it, B-Dog. They already done it, dog. He already the champ. Tank was elevated. When David Haney relinquished the belts, Tank was elevated. Everybody taking a step up. Yep. Tank is already the champ. Shakur Stevenson is the champ, WBC champ. Tank is the WBA champ. Lomachenko and Vasyl Lomachenko about to fight for the WBO or the IBF. Lomachenko is ranked number 1 in both. You know what I mean? He ranked number 1 in the IBF and the WBO, right? So Lomachenko and Kambosos, that's going to be for a title. You know what I mean? That's going to be for a belt. I won't be surprised if both of them said, because it's Bob's belt. Bob is Bob nigga that run the WBO belt, right? So I won't be surprised if Shakur being ranked number 1 at the IBF, you know, probably go call that jump, right? But I won't be surprised if Bob said, go ahead and put the WBO belt on the line as well. Pretty much WBO and the IBF, one of them. Lomachenko ranked number 1 in both of them. You know what I mean? So I won't be surprised if WBO said go ahead. You know what I mean? We'll throw that thing on there too. But yeah, 135 is finna have to be some shaking and moving. You know what I mean? At 135 for sure. It's finna have to be some shaking and moving. Right? And basically, mainly from what I've been hearing is this gonna be Tank next fight probably gonna be Eastside Cruz, right? I'm doing everything in my power to avoid that. Don't nobody want to see that. He said a vacant unification would be crazy, right? That'll be right up Bob Arum alley, man. You know what I mean? They'll be right up Bob. If the IBF is the one that do it first, right? If the IBF is the one that do it first, you know, I can see that. But for sure, the IBF go get the next person up they shot. And the next person up is Vasil Lomachenko for the IBF. You know what I mean? And they just gave Jerome Boost Ennis, you know what I mean, his belt outright. So all these guys moving and shaking right now. Y'all do boy favor. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. I got 17 people in here right now. If y'all ain't hit that thumbs up, y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. Appreciate y'all folks sliding through. We talking this good boxing today. I'm gonna do another. I'm gonna do a boxing prediction because this fight's Friday, so I'm gonna do some boxing predictions today. I'm gonna also do UFC predictions for Saturday today. You know what I mean? But Tank Davis actually, he already is. I was like when I made the EP, I'm like, yeah, let's if it's going to go vacant, right? Let's go Frank versus Frank. You know what I mean, for the title. But come to find out, they basically just elevated Tank to Gervonta Tank Davis is already the champion in the fit, right? So I think Gervonta Tank Davis' first title defense should be just so the IBF and WBO are still vacant at 135. Yes, but 88 is out. It's already been said that Lomachenko versus Kambosos is going to be for a title. It's going to be for one of those titles, right? It's going to be for one of those titles. The IBF are going to make the next two available people available to fight for the belt, which will be Lomachenko. So maybe the IBF belt is going to be on the line for Lomachenko versus Kambosos, right? So that will leave the WBO vacant. But Bob Lomachenko is a WBO fighter, right? So I'm guessing even if Lomachenko don't get that belt directly, it's gonna be somebody on the Bob stable fighting for that WBO. You know what I mean? But it's either gonna be the IBF or the WBO at 35, one of them, right? But we know how the IBF move. The IBF they strict on their rules, right? So more than likely they'll be the ones that make Lomachenko and Kambosos, you know what I mean, for the title. Maybe Bob. Right, I could see it being for the IBF. Right, maybe Bob gonna say, "I'm gonna wait to see if Lomachenko lose. And if Lomachenko lose, then maybe he let him fight for the WBO." You know what I mean, right? But if then again, if you Bob Arum, right? If I'm Shakur Stevenson, I'm asking Bob Arum to let me fight for the WBO. Let me fight in the unification. Whoever you got, just go fight. Let's say the IBF take their Lomachenko and George Kambosos fight, right? If Bob got the WBO from Shakur, you need to be hitting that Bob like, hey, let me fight for that WBO title that you guys sitting over there. He said, oh, yeah, you know, Bob going to give one of his guys direct shot. Yeah, facts. Yep. Facts, you know what I mean? So that 35 WBO is either going to be in-house or shit. He might throw that bitch on the line too. Bob, you know, Bob will do some crazy ass shit like that, right? You know what I mean? I won't be surprised. Because Kambosos is already on this side too. Kambosos' fights are shown on ESPN. He signed with Lou DiBella. Lou DiBella and Bob Arum working together. So this is an in-house fight for Bob anyway. Kambosos versus Lomachenko is an in-house fight. You know what I mean? If Kambosos is the champ, then ESPN, that's an ESPN fight. You know what I mean? So this is technically an in-house fight for Bob right here, right now. You know what I mean? So this ain't no sweat off his back. So shit, why not? And then let the winner fight Shakur Stevenson. You know what I mean? But 135 is getting juicy. You know what I mean? It's getting to where I want it to be, man. I'm glad Devin Haney, you know, officially came up off, you know what I mean, the belts, because now it's gonna put pressure on everybody else to make their moves. It's gonna put pressure on everybody else to do something. It's gonna put pressure on everybody else to mix it up. You know what I mean? It's gonna put pressure on everybody else to mix it up. So Lomachenko and Kambosos are already tied together, right? People saying they don't want to see it, but those guys are two of the high-ranked, you know, guys at 35, right? So this is gonna put pressure on the rest of 35. Tank Davis, you go fight Eastside Cruz again? That ain't really none that the fans want to see. I don't even think Gervonta Tank Davis fans want to see you fight Eastside Cruz again. You know what I mean? I wish it was some, you know, in here right now. If you're in this chat right now, you're a Gervonta Tank Davis fan, right? Do you want to see him fight Eastside Cruz? I know the nigga got fans everywhere, so don't act like y'all ain't fans of Gervonta Tank Davis in here, right? But I don't need most Gervonta Tank Davis fans. Boxing fans don't need being a boxing fan. I don't really want to see it again. I feel like you beat him with one hand already. You know what I mean? You beat him with one. I feel like you could beat him with one hand. You damn sure go beat him with two hands, You know what I mean? You was able to outbox him with one hand. You was about to stop him right before you hurt the hand. At least I feel like I saw a stoppage getting ready to happen before you hurt the hand. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it's nothing you need to prove. I feel like that fight only benefit Isak Cruz. You know what I mean? If you're asking me, that's more beneficial to Isak than it is to Gervonta Tank Davis. If you're asking me personally, that fight, right? I think you beat him. I don't think that's a fight that, we really got to worry about. Gervonta Tank Davis, I think he's just too skilled. You know what I mean? For Isak Cruz, too skilled, too strong. When Gervonta Tank Davis get to moving, Isak Cruz go try to come in with those hooks, and he go get caught on the end or something with it. Now Isak Cruz has a puncher's chance of catching Gervonta Tank Davis, but the chances of Isak stopping Gervonta Tank Davis are low, right? Gervonta Tank Davis, I can't even say he struggled early against Isak because he really had Isak figured out. You know what I mean? He struggled later on against Isak because he had one hand. You know what I mean? That fight helped Isak out. That fight makes Isak pockets bigger. It gives Isak a chance to get another win against Gervonta Tank Davis. I don't think Isak Cruz deserves 2 fights with Tank before Frank Martin deserves 1 fight with Tank, and they both are ranked in the same, around the same area. I think Frank actually is ranked higher. Frank is actually a champion. You know what I mean? He's actually a champion. I'm a WBA champion, WBA gold champion. They doing consolidation. So if they consolidating titles, Frank Martin very well should be next in line for that Gervonta Tank Davis fight. If you're doing the consolidation thing like, they've been doing, right? Because Frank Martin has a WBA strap down there as well. WBA is WBA super, regular, gold, you know what I mean, type deal. And I think Frank Martin was the gold or some shit like that. So if y'all doing consolidations, Frank Martin Tank should be next, man. So I think that's more so where I would want to go. I think the fans would be more pleased. Whether you feel like he knocked out Frank Martin, since he beat, whether you feel like he beat Frank Martin or not Frank Martin out, we know he beat Isak Cruz because he already done it. You know what I mean? I don't think it's not gonna hurt him to fight Frank Martin. You know what I mean? It's not gonna hurt him. You know what I mean? And I think that'll be viewed as a step up instead of a lateral move like Isak Cruz, just because it's something fresh to the eye. And then you got a whole set of people. You got a set of people who believe Frank can compete. And then you got a whole set of people who believe Frank can beat you. You know what I mean? And I think that's good for viewership. I think that's good for TV. You know what I mean? They about to go to Amazon Prime. Isak Cruz, Gervonta Tank Davis, I don't think that's the fight that you want to open the show up with. I think you need something new, something that's going to get people going. I think you need a firefight. You know what I mean? Frank Martin versus Gervonta Tank Davis is going to be a firefight. Somebody is getting hurt in that fight. You know what I mean? At some point, it's going to be a fight in that jump. You know what I mean? At some point, you know what I mean? I'm ready to see it. I think there's 2 of the best athletes at 135 in the same ring. I think he can't go wrong. But Tank is officially the champ at 135. Lomachenko and George Kambosos is going to be for a title. Looking like the IBF could be the WBO, but one of those titles will be on the line, you know what I mean, for Lomachenko versus George Kambosos. I think Tank's first title defense, right, should be Frank Martin for the WBA title, right? Devin Haney officially has vacated all straps at 135. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna keep y'all on here too long with this EP because I gotta do my homework for the boxing cards for Friday and the MMA for Saturday. I got 8 days, but I'm gonna go about 4 more minutes because y'all know I like round numbers. He said if Bob is smart, he'll try to get Shakur to fight for the IBF. Loma wins the WBO. Now he has guys at 35 with the belts at 35. Yeah, yep. If he let Lomachenko, if the IBF. I think what Bob should do, right? Bob should let the IBF sanction that fight with Kambosos and Lomachenko, right? So if Lomachenko win, then you bring the IBF back to your stable, right? And then I think he should sanction the fight for his own WBO, right? Or he could just wait until after that Loma fight, right? Or he could. It's already with Bob because George Kambosos is indirectly an ESPN fighter. Lou DiBella fighters fight on ESPN. You know what I mean? Those fighters fight on ESPN. You know what I mean? Lou DiBella fighters fight on ESPN. And it's crazy how O'Shaka Foster went through that shit with Lou DiBella and all that shit. And then O'Shaka Foster ended up going to Pro Bellum. And then Lou DiBella ended up going to Pro Bellum. And then, Pro Bellum and Lou DiBella basically ended up joining forces with ESPN. That's why you see a lot of those overseas fighters, George Kambosos, and a lot of those fights on those ESPN cards with those random, Russian fighters and Asian fighters, those random fighters from the different parts of the world that you don't really know. Those are Pro Bellum fighters. They did a merger, right? And now O'Shaka Foster then signed the ESPN. George Kambosos was on Pro Bellum, O'Shaka Foster and DiBella still kind of back together. Anyway, but it's just crazy. But I digress, right? But it's kind of already over there, 88. Now that when you really think about it, with Pro Bellum fighters, Lou DiBella, Kambosos, but technically fights on ESPN. All of George Kambosos fights since David Haney has been on ESPN. That made David Haney sign the ESPN to fight George Kambosos for the titles because Pro Bellum. That was right when Lou DiBella and Bob Arum had joined forces, right? Bob Arum wasn't going to let George Kambosos take the belt away from me. So he signed Lou DiBella. So effectively, George Kambosos fights for Bob Arum too. Which why most of his fights is on ESPN because all Lou DiBella fighters fight on ESPN. So Bob Arum really got that division on lock. At this point, At this point, and maybe if I'm PVC, yeah. I ain't even gonna say that because that's a whole different conversation, right? But I digress, man. David Haney has officially, vacated his belts at the 135-pound division. The first fight I would like to see would be like Tank versus Frank. That'd be the first fight I like to see for the WBA vacant belt, right? But now I'm thinking, if all the belts are on the ESPN side, maybe you send Frank over there to try to get one of those. If he, maybe you play the ranking system game with Frank Martin, try to snatch one of them belts from, ESPN, Lou DiBella and them. Because George Kambosos and Lomachenko, that is going to be a title fight. It's either going to be for the IBF or the WBO. It's feeling like the IBF right now, right? So basically at this point, it'll be only one belt vacant left in the 135-pound division. That'll be the IBF or the WBO, depending on which belt Kambosos and Lomachenko fight for, right? But that's all I got for y'all, man. Skin Hardaway 7T. This ain't the past. It's not the future. This the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love.